Let's fucking go. Actually, we're gonna talk about your dad's movie, but first, I want to kick things off. I want to ask you this question,
Please.
which is your level of ambition. Do you find people in your circle who share that same level of ambition? And if you do, how hard was it to cultivate that for yourself?
I don't have any ambition, so yeah, it's pretty easy. Uh,
Low benchmark.
yeah, really low threshold. Um, my whole life, I felt like I was always searching to hang out with people that are ambitious, and I always hated how unambitious people were around me.
Yeah.
And so, but fortunately, yeah, when I got to college and stuff, a lot of my friends, like, I didn't think they're gonna be that ambitious. I didn't know what it was like in the corporate world, but yeah, a lot of them are very ambitious now. Like, like very much so.
Like in different sectors.
Yeah, I mean, theirs is much more lucrative, but
Yeah, it's hard. Life of an artist.
life of an artist. Um, yeah, like my one buddy does commercial real estate in Dallas, and like the brands, the companies that they put into buildings are like really cool companies and stuff, big restaurants, and they're meeting with like the biggest people in Dallas and very influential, interesting people and stuff. So like that's a lot of responsibility, a lot of cool stuff. And I know someone that his company that he worked for right out of college, tech company, and they got bought by Cisco.
Right. Do you
Giant tech.
feel like, though, that level of ambition, if it's in different industries, do you think that it's just as motivational to you as if you had people in your circle who were artists who also had that same level of ambition? Or could it take away? Like seeing that it's more lucrative, etc., could that be a deterrent?
It definitely could be. But yeah, like when I see a lot of like Tanner's friends, for example, that are super like doing the creative path, and they're very ambitious as well. It's cool to see that, maybe if I was more immersed in that in Hollywood and stuff, that would contribute to some development there career wise, artistically. But I don't know. I'm definitely I'm definitely around ambitious people now. Yeah.
That's great, dude. I think that's a rare thing. I think the percentage of people in general aren't really that ambitious, like the masses.
I used to think that for sure, and I still kind of do. Yeah, I think I'm always shocked by it. When I like really talk to my friends about like what they do for work and stuff, it's like they're they're going big. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, and yeah, I know people that are like 25 years old and they're like heads of marketing at these companies, and like it's like big corporate companies, but that are cool.
that's
They
one of the
know.
things though. Like when it comes to, I mean, I've never really vibed with the whole corporate thing. That's
Mm.
just never really been my path. Uh, I feel like, and like, I'm not knocking on anyone in your circle. I don't know like exact, circumstance, but
Of course.
when
Yeah.
it comes to like, even if you're in a different sector, if you're like a business owner and you create your own thing from scratch, I feel like it's a different thing than climbing the ladder of a company.
Of course it's different, but I have I think it can be broken down to, in the corporate space, you have to tackle smaller branches of it. And
Right.
there's a path for people. And and maybe that's just wishful thinking on my part, like being someone that's not actually in it. But a lot of these people, I mean, I know people are in finance and do film finance and that type of stuff. And it's like they want to become a associate, then a VP, then a this. And then once you're big enough, then you branch out on your own and you do your own thing. And then then you're on the board of this. It's like there's definitely paths that can be very, like, you hold a lot of power and a lot of knowledge that is very useful. My other roommate who just moved, Cam, he worked so hard at a job that I didn't think was that cool initially, but people kind of told me he was actually at a very prestigious company, and he did consulting, management consulting, and like his hours were horrible, got paid pretty good money. And I was always like, dude, you should take those skills and go somewhere else. He's like, oh yeah, but I don't know where I'm gonna like apply to jobs. She's like obnoxiously from Boston. Won't let you forget it. Very easy to make fun of. And he's like, so yeah, you know, it's gonna take a long time to even look for jobs. Who's got the time? I'm like, dude, you make time. And he did, and now he got a big job at another company. And from consulting all these different companies for so long, like he's very knowledgeable and it translated now, you know, now he's moving up at a different place. But
And he could even take that stuff, like if you learn everything you need to know at a certain place, like you could also branch off on your own and do your own thing. There's
yeah,
people who do that.
I guess like it's so weird, bro. When we finished college, and a lot of all of the kids from college pretty much went into the corporate sphere.
Yeah. Even from
It's
like your acting program, is that what you're talking about?
no.
College,
Sorry,
college.
from SMU. Um, these are the kids that are like, you know, they're all from good backgrounds, like successful business backgrounds, but they initially the jobs they got at, I mean, probably weren't too far from just going on LinkedIn and getting stuff. And they would call it the corporate plantation. Like it was pretty depressing, I guess, like sales, a lot of sales jobs and like all this stuff. But they were working with other people they knew from colleges. And like a lot of people worked at like Oracle and stuff, like these conglomerates, right? But then cut to 5 years in, and a lot of them rose up. They all rose up. They're all doing sick stuff now. And there's paths. And so and like now I'm 10 years pretty much. We're like all 30. Like you got big standards of living.
Stands like lifestyle, money's coming in.
Yeah, financial lifestyle is good.
Is that
Um,
distracting for you as an artist?
I would say, yeah, on some level, but it is motivating because I know I can't just like wallop around as like a wannabe artist. It's like you
Right.
got to actually put, you know, I have high expectations for myself. So,
When you're an artist, I mean, unless you're, your dad's Johnny Depp, you've got to be an entrepreneur, basically. Like,
yeah.
especially as, I mean, I'd say like as a writer, actor, director, producer, starting out, if you don't have that like a list
Yeah.
then you gotta like you're the fucking product and you gotta figure out how to make this happen. And
Hmm.
I think it necessitates that kind of entrepreneurial mind. And a lot of people don't have that. That's why a lot of people work at, again, not knocking on corporations, but I feel like it's easier to, climb to titles, maybe not jumping, but even just being part of a corporation. It's easier to do that than like you're the entire business, you're the whole enterprise. And especially as an actor too, because you are literally the product.
That's a good point. I think there's a lot of people that work at corporate companies that they don't have the like they don't have the balls to be a complete entrepreneur. And like the PR company that I work for, my day job, like the boss Merit, she like definitely puts herself out there. Like running this company is not for the faint of heart. And the people that work for her in the corporate side are like brilliant and very focused and great. And they're gonna have successful careers and they go around all the time. They change companies, but like they're not necessarily they don't have to do their own thing. It's not for everyone, I guess.
Yeah, there are pros and cons.
Yeah. But I've told you, even with like the clothing that I'm doing, I want to be able to make it successful and then be able to be a consultant for other brands as well. Take that information because I'm learning so much and help other people with that.
That's cool, man. I
Yeah.
see a lot of writers during the strike. they're turning to teaching people. Like they've now gotten to a certain place, yeah, career wise, where it's like now because the work's not coming in, it's a perfect time to kind of pivot. I think that'd be rewarding too. I know one day, like once I make it, I want to get that mentor kid, give him a shot.
I've never heard that so many people were working in the film industry until the strike happened and everyone started yelling about how they weren't working. It's like I assume no one was working all the
This whole time.
whole
Yeah.
time. I assumed everyone just perpetually out of work.
Dude, it's a fucking fence. When you get to peer over that fence, you're, oh shit, like there's all this money, there's all this opportunity, the
Totally.
golden gates. It's there, dude. It's always been there, but it's just a matter of getting over that fence.
Yeah, I'd say so. Um, I just read an article about Bob Iger and the Disney situation, and it's like, oh, people are always talking about the same stuff. What about you, dude? Do you feel like people are motivated in your sector when you look around?
There's a reason why I sculpted, like I reached out to you to do this podcast because you have this kind of energy. This was a very intentional thing. I love doing the pod and I love putting it out there, but that's part of the reason, dude. I've got that. There's this other filmmaker that I talk to weekly. So, and then Ken is huge. So I've got a few people, but it's rare. It's just hard to find. I think you have to reach some sort of tangible success in order to really be surrounded by like the killers. Because killers want to be around killers, right? And you have to demonstrate that skill.
At least in Hollywood, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of people in Hollywood that are just kind of bopping around.
Bopping around.
Yeah. Same thing in Malibu. Like a lot of just inheritance money, people chilling, not really doing anything.
Dude, even that, how much more inspirational is it to see the kid who had like nothing and then he crawled his way to the fucking top? Who's that guy who has the studio in Atlanta? Medea? Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry had nothing, bro. Now he has a studio that's like bigger than Universal, Paramount, Warner Bros. Combined. It's fucking crazy.
Medea. Just gonna do Medea. I know, I like that. That's my
Yeah, dude. It's like the
I,
most profitable series of all time. I've
I'm
never
on,
seen one.
but that reminded me, I'm on a new thing lately. Someone asked me the other day, like, what's your definition of success? And I know because we've talked about like, oh, do I give myself a timeline on things? I do, but I also a big thing for me is doing what the parents wanted all along, reaching my potential. In all things, it's
Honestly,
like
bro, lucky that you had parents like that. And when they said potential, they were talking about like what you wanted to do, right? Like they didn't have this plan for you, this kind of, maybe they did. You kind of, your family's in the biz, right? So maybe this
they,
was
they
orchestrated.
forced me to become an actor.
Yeah, dude. They orchestrated this whole thing.
You
Puppeteer.
will you will be a starving artist. Uh no, I told that's actually a good question. Like when people say your potential, like are they just like projecting onto you? But no, yeah, my I can only assume that they meant like we want you to have the best life that you could possibly have and also like work wise or like just as far as like what you get out of life, like putting out there best things. You started something, see it to the end. If you've have any part of you that really wants to strive in that, then see it through, push yourself as hard as you can push yourself. So yeah, I think we talk about it with comedy, with clothing, with acting, with writing, and then also like in so I want to see all that stuff through. And it doesn't all have to happen at one time. But even when you make money, financial freedom is one thing, but like still if something was in your heart at one point, you got to do your best at it. So for me,
Yeah.
that's like all things. That's relationships too. That's people. That's being the best person that I could be, really, Benjamin Franklin, I just saw this documentary on him. He'd have these lists every week. He got known as a very organized person, famously so.
Right.
And he had these lists where he would check off on a scale from 1 to 5 how he was doing with honesty that week, how he was doing with scheduling that week, all these little things, how he was doing with work, how he was doing with spirituality, how he was doing with all these things. And it's stuff like that, seeing your potential through, like, simplify it. So it doesn't need to be whether this person wants it for you, whether you want it for you. It's like, no, see, like, project out there some things that you want that are healthy, that you deem as healthy, and then do the best that you can with them, and try to ground yourself, be honest with yourself, be smart, what's good for you, and then create it.
I don't believe in the thing of starving artist at all. I think that you should make a living doing the thing that you love. But I think that there are opportunities that'll come along, especially for an artist, where, financial incentive wise, you could see it as a path towards financial freedom. But ultimately, when we're talking financial freedom, I think, like any industry, any sector is going to be really fucking difficult because the market in anything nowadays is so competitive. So I feel like if you actually want to be competitive and you really want to be financially free, it's got to be doing something that you love. Because doing the thing that you love, even though you're going to have hard days and it's going to be shitty at times, you are going to be able to see that through, which will ultimately lead to financial freedom.
Yeah, and it's tough. Like, for me, the things that I love, I don't love them all the time.
Yeah.
So the bigger thing that I go off of is, like, reminding myself, oh, I have some type of love for that, or it's in my heart, or I might pivot, but I think you should come back to the stuff that you once loved.
What about acting don't you love?
Sometimes I just question, like, bigger picture with acting, like, oh, is that really a good profession?
As in what? Like, what don't you think is good about the profession potentially?
The lifestyle.
The financial freedom
Financial freedom,
or
the
schedule more?
well, honestly, like, you can get a little caught up in just, like, oh, I'm literally just, is that important to pretend to be other people for money? Like, that's a little pathetic.
But I get where you're going. I get where you're going.
Yeah, it's just like the little things like that. I mean, I have my reasons for why I do think it's good, which are, I come back to, but which are like, no, I am like a born performer that's had incredible moments in front of people, telling stories. I've come such a long way of what I've learned with my craft of that. I went from being so psyched out to, like, I literally have been, in the palm of this storytelling tool, and being able to do it in front of other people and getting to that place. I need to make the most out of it and see how far I can go.
Feel like your process of what you've shared with me, the reason why I vibe with it so much is because it's not self-indulgent. And that's the issue that I see with a lot of actors. And that's like, that ties in, I feel like, with what you see as negative, which is the potential for, like, oh, is this just kind of like, why is this important? It's kind of self-indulgent, whatever. I don't want to speak for you, but that's what I'm getting. And your
Yeah,
process
that is
isn't,
it.
and your process isn't that at all. And I think thinking about, like, what effect has other actors had on you? Like, when you're in the theater, like watching, or even on your couch, like watching a show that you love, there's
Yeah,
something about, you need human beings in the scenes, like emoting, making you feel.
totally.
The incredible work that they do is transformative for the audience.
Well, I come back to, like, what do I love about it? And sometimes I'm like, there's such bad movies out there. Plays can be so bad and stuff. Like, do I just love documentaries? Do I just love sports? I mean, what do I love about entertainment and storytelling? But when I do see good movies, and I, like, try to remind myself of them all the time, it is as pure and beautiful of an art form as I can think of. I love putting together a show or whatever it is for people, and being able to do everything that I want to do with it, express myself fully. And it's not just the filmmaking, which I think is almost as good as it gets too, but like even the act of acting at times, like you're putting on doing a scene and you're bringing it to life and it feels like how that would be in that moment or whatever. It is self-indulgent, but like it the craft of it is pretty nice. Like, to bring stuff to life that is on the page or that you're improvising. It's like I definitely get to feel a little self-righteous about it. Like, oh, I set out to do that. I did it. Not to say that I'm always gonna be perfect or anything, but and it's just another tool of like I'm not, and I've only auditioned in person a few times in my life, really.
Yeah.
But just because everything's been self-taped since the pandemic and everything. And but every time I do, I'm like nervous, but I'm not in a bad place because I tell myself like, how good can I possibly make this? Even if I don't get the job, probably won't get the job, but like I care more about doing my best than even getting the job, which even in sports now, like when I did a tournament and you're in front of all these people, that's still what I focus on. I say, rather than winning, I'm going to just try to figure out how I can play my game and feel free in front of everyone, do my best.
Mhm.
And I think that's the right goal to go for.
Mhm. When I was acting, I was so locked up most of the time, which is why I'm not acting anymore. I don't like it. But there were a couple moments where I'd be in front of all these people and I could enter that flow state. And I completely understand that feeling of that. Like, it's almost like a high when you're just in that zone and you're really able to let everything go. You've prepped, you're with the person, you're in the circumstance. That feeling's fucking great. And I
That
get,
performance, yeah.
yeah, dude, I get the same thing. And I love this even more of when I'm in the flow state directing and making the pieces come
Yeah.
together. And then I see it come together. I'm like crafting this thing with all these different elements. It's like a puzzle. And it's that tapping into that, which is similar to your acting thing in the
Yeah.
moment, but also not being self-indulgent. Like the fragile ego part of me is like, yeah, like I want to be the biggest fucking director in the world. Like, obviously, right? That's always going to be there. But the truth of why I want to do it is this, bro. I saw I don't want to knock on like specific movies, right? Because it's big fucking studio projects. But fuck it. I saw The Nun 2 this
Okay.
last weekend.
Yeah. It's in the trailers for it.
Look, dude, it made a shit ton of money. So congrats to the team. And also, before I give my opinion, like I've never done a studio feature. I don't know what that's like to have, 15 producers and a studio and
Right.
notes and executives. It's a completely different thing. And the amount of control that you have as a director is very limited. And I want to experience that. I know I'm going to, but all that's to say is like, dude, there were moments in there. It's The Nun. It's a spinoff of Conjuring 2 because there was a nun. I don't know if you ever saw that scene. It's one of the most iconic horror scenes where they see this nun who's down the hall and she walks in the room and then she's in the painting, like her shadow goes into this creepy portrait of the nun and she like rushes. And there was a moment in this film. This film was like littered with jump scares. That was like the whole thing. And there was a part of the film where she backs up into that same portrait and everyone in the audience goes because we all like expected that moment like from The Conjuring 2. We love that moment. It's iconic. And bro, they fumbled the hit. It was like you saw the portrait and then it was just like a cheap jump scare. And that feeling of disappointment that I got from the audience and like other horror movies that I saw this year, I heard this woman at the end of the film be like, that was like a waste of 90 minutes. And that to me is like, I now feel the responsibility to deliver for an audience. That's the selfless part of that. And that's really like the enjoyment that I get out of it. I love the high of like being in the moment, like the acting stuff. But dude, I just want to deliver because as a horror fan first, I know what I come to see. Like, I want to be scared shitless. I want to remember these iconic moments. And seeing what's been out lately, I'm like, that's what I want to provide. So that's what keeps me going.
I love that. That is a very empowering place to come from.
Thanks, dude. I think anytime you just look outside of yourself, because it is easy, bro. It's easy to be like, what? Like I want to act, like I want to, you know, like play characters
Yep.
for a living. And while other people are like doing all this other more meaningful shit, it's not more meaningful shit. People, dude, what do people do after they're done their day job? Like they instantly come back home. Like 95% of the population turns on their TV because they want to be entertained. People need that. It's like a necessary part of
That's a very good, yeah, that's a very good equalizer there. Yeah, I mean, how meaningful most people's jobs, they're in marketing or some crap. Yeah.
yeah, dude. And like and people need the escape. Life is hard, dude. Like people need to be able to see something and see a performance that is transformative. People need that.
I definitely don't love the aspect of show business too, that like how tough of a business it is. That like you can literally make someone's life from a scene that you did. And then like the next time they see you in anything, they're like, it's like 10 years later, and they're just like, where have you been? Like, I haven't seen you in anything. I almost forgot about this guy. And he's like, no, this guy was like crushed it, 10 years ago. And like it could be 10 years between good jobs and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And
yeah.
so it's just a really tough business, but that's why I'm not just like wrapped up in that.
You maintain a good balance. You've got more of like a 360-degree lifestyle. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, I mean, dude, it's tough, right? It is a roller coaster type thing. Getting over that wall that I talked about, like, yeah, you can jump over and then people throw you back. It's like this constant back and forth. But dude, the thing is, there are people out there very close to your fucking circle that like are consistently crushing it, and the industry has accepted them with open arms, meaning it can absolutely happen. It is like rare, but I think it's worth pursuing.
It's a good point. I'm on the right track. What do you have going at the moment?
I'll tell you, bro, but I want to say one more thing. You are on the right track, just even in the fact that you're still in it. Like, look around. Yeah, look around at your circle. Like, yeah, you have people I know who are like still in it, who are crushing all that stuff. But like, look at the people 5 years ago who you went to school with, or like, people who wanted to be actors who never even tried. Like, the fact that you're now still pursuing this thing is admirable in of itself. Like, regardless of result or whatever, it's
I agree.
persistence.
I agree. And like have had some successes. I'm about to be on TV in 4 days.
Dude,
So
what remind our viewers of where you're going to be?
yes.
Got
Look,
to promote yourself, bro.
if you're by the Lifetime streaming app, be sure to look into the film called As Luck Would Have It. Or it's a 3-part movie series, and this is the third one of the segment. And I'm in it. I got a big part, unless it's got cut.
Which is a crazy thing, dude. We talked about this last time where it's like you don't know what the cut looks like. That's fucking crazy to me.
Right? That if it was like a big budget movie, I'd probably have a better idea of how it's gonna be, but I'd also be probably a lot more nervous.
Are you
But
go ahead.
this, I'm chilling though. I'm just like it's Lifetime, like it's meant to be messed up.
Are you gonna send your postcard out to people or your reps like Duke's in this thing? Like when I worked for an agency, dude, this is the thing they would do. They'd send 3 postcards. One, he booked the gig. One, he's shooting the gig. And one, he's about to be in this thing. 3 for every role. You do that shit?
Uh I sadly do not. But
I
it's
don't
funny,
think
like
it's any difference.
for a while, I was like getting super into like the put my best foot forward, try my hardest, and marketing and everything, which is always something that you should be doing. You should be doing the most of what you got. But like even I'm our new roommate just moved in. He's a producer and agent, young guy, and we are just going over my materials, and he's like, "Less is more. Less is more. Can't solicit to these people.
Yeah, dude,
Want less on your IMDb.
bro.
Uh, like just be have them come to you."
That's the thing. I would be at the agency and they'd send all this shit out, and then I work for Blumhouse and they just threw everything away. It was like, here's the output, here's what's coming.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, dude, that's exciting. I'm excited to check it out. It's the only reason I'll ever download the Lifetime app. But there you go.
Thank you. I actually, it might be on Amazon Prime or something. I'm gonna look up because they've already had the first two episodes, so
Cool.
you'll be find those, and I'll let you know. Thanks, man. It'll be fun to see me act for myself. I don't know if I'm just obsessed with myself, which I'm definitely not as much as some people are, but like I don't mind seeing myself on screen. I'm like, I buy it.
Dude, you got to be comfortable with that. I've never understood that. Like actors who are like, I can never, like, you put in all this fucking work. You did this whole fucking thing. Like, who gives a shit if you're insecure about like the way your nose is? Like, fuck it. Like,
I'm thinking.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's crazy to me. I'm glad you're not one of those. Because, dude, that even feels self indulgent. Like, oh, you're so involved with yourself that you can't even see the entire film that like hundreds of people worked on. That's kind of fucked.
it is kind of fucked. By the way, someone approached me. It's cool that people start to think of you as like a creative, I guess. But someone asked me if I wanted to like audition or be in their like immersive theater production they have that they're pitching around town to try to get going. And I saw it and like I respect the idea of this thing. It's like Sleep No More, one of those things. And but I'm like, I can't do it. It's not. I don't have time for this thing right now. I'm not just gonna like be a slave to acting and just do this thing. It's not really
No,
my vibe.
that's the right call. Dude, you gotta say no to like shit like that. No offense to them. But like,
No,
yeah. I mean, what was the commitment like too? Was it like a weeks long thing?
yeah,
Yeah, dude, that's a time suck.
it's a time suck. Like at this point, I know the stuff that I want to do. It's either good production stuff or stuff with friends
Yeah.
or stuff that I know is gonna be really good.
Yeah. As it should be, bro. People say yes way too much and then they regret it. Like they're like, okay, yeah, because it like saves everyone's feelings. But then when the day comes, you're like, fuck me. Why the fuck did I say yes? You made the right call.
Thank you. All right, what do you got going on in the moment?
I'm waking up at 5 a.m. every day. Feels great. Put in 2 hours of writing, timed writing, which actually takes me like 3.5 hours. Because I'm like getting coffee, pacing, all that shit. But dude, I I've cycled through because I finished that screenplay that I'm really fucking proud of, that I know is gonna land in the market. I've got this big reader on it now. We're gonna see where it goes. I feel really good though. But after that, bro, it's been a whole week of like getting up at fucking 5, and I've cycled through like 60 ideas. But I'm at the place now where I'm like, I'm not just gonna bullhead through. Like, I know that I can finish a screenplay, but bro, the idea has to be there. Like, the idea has to be so fucking high concept that it's worth it to like put myself through the agony of writing a screenplay. So I've spent like a
Maybe we do the screenplay of The Holes in the Wall.
what, dude?
Maybe we put together the screenplay of The Holes in the Wall, where there's the whole like reverse universe, kind of like Coraline.
Oh yeah, dude. That's my shit.
Go on,
Yeah,
go
bro.
on.
I really like the thing is though, bro, you set up that time, the universe rewards that. It's like I'm getting comfortable with the discomfort of not having the idea. and but it's gonna come to me. But yeah, dude, if you saw me, if there was like a camera or some shit, I'm literally just like sitting here at fucking 5 a.m. But bro, that's what it takes. Like if it's gonna take me even like a month, like 3 months, in order to get like one morning where the purge like comes to mind, where I'm like, fuck, like dude, that's what you gotta do. The idea is the most important thing, and then the execution.
Totally. Yeah, where are you looking to for ideas?
I'm thinking about what I like. The films I like the most. I've been watching a lot of horror trailers.
What about a pickleball horror movie?
I need to see your pickleball series come out first. When's
My
that?
dad started to write it again.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway, though. Sorry, I didn't mean to
I
derail
mean,
you.
no, dude, that's mostly me. I've been chilling on shorts. And dude, it's time to go to the big leagues. Like I've been working with Ken trying to figure out what we could make for like no money, another trying to get back on the feature trail and just working that. How about you, man?
Hustle continues. Uh, I'm good, bro. Yeah, a lot of things in the mix. I had a little cold, so I've been trying to shake that. It's been like 3 weeks lingering.
COVID?
I actually just got antibiotics. It wasn't COVID, but so that's part of why I'm so tired at the moment. But good things ahead, bro. Big things, as I always. My friends make fun of me because I say that so much. I just say big things coming.
Dude, you got to, because it's the truth. It's the
It's
objective reality, bro.
damn truth, bro.
Yeah. Dude, it's admirable you're on the path. That's the biggest thing. And like you said, we've already had wins, we've had successes. So it's like important to remember that. You got this film coming out. Like that's fucking huge.
Thanks, man. It is. Big things coming. Big things coming. I so agree. You just like don't give up and then keep celebrating little wins and keep striving. That's all you can do. And but in the meantime though, when nothing flashy is happening, you gotta keep one foot in front of the other. Embrace the door.
And using people as a bounce board too. It's like talking to other ambitious people. Energy feeds off of other energy. You're not in this silo, just like that. You're not in
Meaningful.
a silo where it's just you and yourself. It's like there are other people out there who are also crushing it. Just, you know.
You gotta go to other people. 100%. Yeah. I'm so tired.
Let's close it out, bro. It's good seeing you. Are we picking it up again on Thursday, or are we waiting to go back around? Trip
Uh,
around.
I assumed we weren't, but I would be down. What do you think?
Yeah, let's go Thursday.
Let's try Thursday. Yeah,
100%. We're back on schedule.
I like it.
All right, bro.
All right, bro. Great talking to you, man.
Sleep.
Thank
Bye.
you.